Hey everyone, my name's Theo. I'm a developer working on our first game called Corlero. We're a really small team, big passion project for us. We have a link to our Steam page below where you can wishlist it, play the demo for yourself, and I'm going to play a run of the demo now so you can see some gameplay. So, thanks for checking out Corlero, and I hope you enjoy. So, let's go ahead and click New Game here. We're going to go with the demo. The Denial faction is the only faction available in the demo. So we're going to boot that up. And alright, we are the Hopeful Buddies. So first things first, I'm going to buy every unit in this shop. And then I'm going to kind of assemble my team, take a look at it, see if I want to level to 4. And I think I will. Go ahead and play a team of 4 and get into the action. So right off the bat, the enemy team, the Fresh Bunch, they've got 4 2 costs. Really strong early team. Probably going to lose very handedly here. It's Mako Chain Wielder. Very strong with the crowd control. Great White Brawler does a lot of damage. So we're going to go ahead and take that loss there. Lose 3 health. Not a big deal. I'm going to buy all of the shop units again and take a look. Here on turn 3, we're able to unlock a trait, so I want to try to assemble a team that has traits in common with each other. So right off the bat, all 3 of these units have the Soul Ripper trait. So that's going to be a powerful option. So I'm definitely going to play all of these. And then I'm going to kind of look at the other traits that I have available. So we've got Summoner, Empowering, Stalker, Cleave, Overpowering, and Unyielding as other potential options. So here, both the Shipwreck Golem and the Basher have Overpowering, so that's an option. We have a Stalker pair here, and I don't believe there's anything else. Pretty much these would be my best 2 options here. I think I'm going to go ahead and play the Shrimp Assassin here. All my units are melee, just going to kind of spread out in a row. I'm at 7 gold here. I'd like to get to 10 so I can get 1 interest. So I think I will probably sell those 2 right there. Go ahead and battle it up. Alright, so we got a level 2 Boom Boom and a 3 cost here, the Sleazy Beak. So it's going to be another powerful team. Going to take a second loss here more than likely. And our loss streak will go to 2. We can kind of look to keep the money rolling in with the loss streak here and not feel too bad about it. So let's go ahead and take 2 here. Not a big deal. And let's see what we get for trade options. So we did get the Soul Ripper option, which is going to be active on 3 of our units, which is really cool. Debilitating and Stalker. Stalker on 2 of them. Debilitating is only on our 1. So almost certainly going to grab the Soul Ripper here. And the effect of the Death Knell is that Soul Ripper units will heal when things die nearby. So I'm going to want to make additional units potentially, or just kind of make them tankier so they can stick around here. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into the Codex really quickly and just highlight that. So this is what we unlocked, is a Soul Ripper Death Knell. Whenever any unit within 2 distance dies, Soul Ripper units heal for 40 health plus 10% of the dying unit's health over 4 seconds. And here in the Codex, I can click on that and yeah, pull up everything, all of the units that have Soul Ripper, and kind of filter around, see. So we've got a lot of the early units. Some of the later units are options, depending on how far we make it. So right off the bat, I see we've got another unit with Soul Ripper here. So we can pilot this team of 4. We're at 16 gold. We've only got 3 gold here on our bench, so we could only get to 19. If we won, we would get 1 gold for winning, go to 20, and then be able to get 2 interest. But I think it's unlikely to win with our team of 4 here. We have a trade unlocked on all 4, but our units all cost 1 or 2, no level 2 units, so I think it's pretty likely we're going to lose here. I also think it's pretty likely that we're going to play any of these units on our bench, and none of the units in their shop are all that appealing. So I'll go ahead and sell. We'll go to 19, I'll battle, but I expect to lose here as well. So we fight a team that leveled to 5. Looking at their trait, they have Taunting Retaliate, and 5 units with a 3 cost. It's looking like it's going to be another loss, but that's okay, because we have our loss streak going. And right here we can see 10 instances of Reflect, that pink bar being the special damage coming out here from the Sand Golem retaliating, forcing units to attack it and kind of running my team down. So we'll take another loss here. We're down to 19 health. Still got some life to play with. Gonna pick up this Basher. We're at 25 now. There's really no way for us to get to 30, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy everything out here. And we'll just kind of make our team a little bit stronger, but in a turn or two, we're gonna try to really lean into turning our streak around and turn it into a win streak, but we're just going to kind of take a loss here for now. So enemy team is Stalker. They all jump to the enemy's side of the battle at the start. They've got Ambush, so they get to stun for 4 seconds with their first attacks. So another really strong snowballing team. A level 2, down units, so we're just going to take that loss as well and just see what gets thrown at us. So now we get an option to unlock a jewel. So we've got Nimble, which will give attack speed to the unit. We've got Efficient, decreasing mana cost, and Replenishing to get 5 mana regen per second. So interesting options here. None of these abilities are particularly powerful for what we're trying to do. We could potentially try to go into sort of a summoner kind of thing, reducing mana costs, and try to really lean into making additional units for our Death Knell to trigger, because the Shiv Sliver makes Shiv Slugs and the Terror Maw produces Mawlings, so we can kind of go into more of a summoning kind of route. So I think I'll go with some mana regen, put it here. We get a level 2 Prickle Spike, which is nice. We're at 31 gold. I'll pick up these pairs, though they don't really fit what our team is doing. And for now, we might actually just want to give more mana regen to the Prickle Spike because it's going to be our strongest unit. So, getting into kind of dangerous territory here. It's a very cheap level up, so I think I am just going to spend the 2 gold to level up, put one of these units in play, and then I guess I will ditch the other pair just to stay here. Still expecting to lose on this battle. Though we might be able to beat this team. They look like they could be weaker than us. So kind of okay with either option. Getting the win streak to 5, a weak loss would be okay. But it looks like we're going to win. Which is perfectly acceptable because we're looking to turn this around here and really start to get a strong team together. Probably go into a summoner path here and see if we can round out our team. So we'll go ahead and take that victory. And alright, so now we're coming up on turn 7 here, where we're going to unlock our second trait. Going to look to try to pick up Summoner if possible. And the more of any trait you have in play, the more likely it is to see it. So based on the units we have in play here, we've got 2 copies of the Summoner trait, 2 copies of Empowering, 2 copies of Unyielding and Overpowering. The Prickle Spike, our strongest unit, unfortunately, is showing us Stalker and Cleave, which is not quite what our team is trying to do right now. So we've got 38 gold to play with, so we have a few options here. We could spend 14 gold and level up to 6, roll a little bit, try to make our team stronger. We could just roll, because we have 2 copies of Basher and 2 copies of Shiv Sliver, but we're going to have to find some things to replace them. I think since we did turn this into a win streak, I'm going to try spending a lot of gold here to make ourselves stronger. So I'm going to go ahead and level us up and buy everything in the shop. We'll just roll a little bit here. I don't think we really want to play these, but we may as well just check. So we hit some things here. Let's just keep rolling. Level 2 Mako is interesting. I'll slot it in for right now. Go ahead and ditch that. We've got a couple of 3 costs here. Not exactly what we're looking to do, so I'm going to go ahead. The Cascola Lurker has Summoner, so it is potentially an option. Still not really what we're looking for. There's a level 2 Basher, so that's interesting. So we did hit that. We could try... Probably going to roll a little bit more. I think I will ditch that. No, I mean, the Shosano Preserver is also another option. It does have Taunting, which is an overlap with our Cascola Lurker, which I think we might end up putting in play here to try to hit Summoner. And we could go in a taunting sort of direction, so we might actually get rid of the Mako Chain Wielder. It shares Cleave with Prickle Spike, but Fearsome and Infuse are not quite what we're doing, so I think I'm going to get rid of that. And I think I'm going to cut the Prickle Spike for right now because it's showing us Stalker and Cleave, and I don't think that's really what we're looking to do. So we're going to kind of leave it up to fate a bit here, just to try to get our second trait. So What I'm mostly hoping for here is still that summoner option. Taunting is also decent. So we have taunting on the Cascola Lurker, taunting on the Preserver, taunting on the Shipwreck Golem. Then we also have overpowering on the Basher and on the Shipwreck Golem, and we have unyielding on the Basher and the Shilsano Preserver. So hopefully this is a strong enough team here that we can keep our win streak going. So we have two hooks coming in right off the bat. So we'll see if that gives us any trouble right off the bat. We might need to redo this and try to reposition, because I think it will be important to try to keep winning from this position if we can. So if we can get through this front line here, we can get back to their support units, and then I think we'll be fine if we can get through there. So I think we should be able to power through this back line here as they got through their tanky units and made good headway here. And they had a good amount of armor, so it took us a while to get through, but we'll go ahead and take that victory and let's see what we get. So we did not see Summoner, so it looks like that ship is going to sail, but we did get Taunting and also Unyielding. So we got two options here. I think the Taunting is more appealing. So this is Taunting Retaliate, which is the Taunting variant we saw earlier of reflecting damage, and Unyielding Immutable. So just kind of looking at what our options here for the Taunting, this could bridge us into Iceberg Golem, which is really powerful, Shosano Guardian if we get lucky. And then looking at our Unyielding options here, Unyielding is actually on Ripper Beast. So this is what's referred to as a buddy unit with Basher. So both Basher and Ripper Beast have Soul Ripper and Unyielding, so they share traits together. So this actually might bridge me into a more natural strategy here where I can potentially put together a team that has more traits active and give more power here. So Unyielding Immutable reduces all damage taken by 2% of their max health. So if I can get them to level 2, get their health higher, there's a good opportunity to be tankier here. So one of the things that would make Taunting more appealing was potentially going that Summoner path, but I don't know that that's really where we're going to go there. So and I also don't know whether or not Shipwreck Golem is going to be that big of a play in our team, since he is a 1 cost. He's level 2, or yeah, he is a level 2 1 cost, and I think planning for our future, Unyielding will just be the better option. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up here. Immediately we get another Shilsano Preserver, which is certainly a nice pickup here. I'm going to go ahead and clean up our bench a little bit. So I think I might end up cutting the Shipwreck Golem now, just so that we can get our money back above 10. And I'm going to keep this Mako Chain Wielder in case I want to redo. And yeah, as far as getting extra mana, I think I'm going to put that on our Basher here. Get more of a front line of our tankier units going. And yeah, let's go ahead and ship that. See what we've got. So we are fighting a Death Dancer Vengeance team. The first time they're killed, they heal to 50%. They deal and take a lot more damage. So they hit hard, but we're breaking through their defenses already. So I think they're going to have a hard time cutting through our tanky units that are coming through and wreaking havoc a bit. So good amount of CC and damage coming through, but we just have a very strong team right now. So Squid Fu is very powerful, and probably better than one of our units, but I'm going to take the greedy play here since we're at exactly 20 gold. Get that 2 interest, try to get 2 interest from our gold, 3 money from our trait, or from our streak, win streak going here, and just send it, see if we can fight. So we got a Fearsome and an Unyielding team. So Fearsome Devour, when they crit, they heal. It's a good amount of lifesteal coming out, but we do also mitigate a fair amount of damage here. Just looking at the mitigating, we've got 700, almost 800 coming out here. A lot of mitigation from both of us, as we both have Unyielding, Immutable coming in. But this is quite an interesting battle here. One of the effects of the Great White is reducing healing, so I don't think I'm going to be able to break through this, and I'm going to need to try a redo here to turn this in. So I'm going to go ahead and spend a dust to try to redo this battle, and I think I'm not sure that the Shiv Slither is really doing what we want. So I may try a reposition here. And just see if I can't hook something right off the bat. Gonna pull in this Shiv Slither, see if we can get a nice early kill, get a bit more focused fire going on, and get out of some of the AoE at the top, make the positioning a little bit better for me. See if that hook can kind of turn the battle with a little bit of better positioning here. And that's one of the nice things, one of the core features is being able to redo battles and see if you can change the positioning for it. So we should be able to grind through the Great White here as he doesn't have sustain, though 3,700 damage is quite a bit of output there. So now we get our second jewel unlock here. We can get some armor, we could get some damage reflect, or increased health. Increased health is appealing due to the unyielding immutable trait, so I'm going to go with that because increasing the health will also increase the mitigation here, and if I can get a level 2 Shosano Preserver that's mitigating, has more flat health, healing himself, dropping threat, it's going to be really powerful and difficult to deal with. So I'm going to kind of switch my positioning back up again here. We're at a perfect 30 with a win streak of 4, so we're going to go ahead and make the greedy play here and just ship it. That is a very interesting team. Lots of level 2s. They have executing eviscerate, so they kill units below a certain threshold and reduce healing. So it's pretty scary going up against my Shosano Preservers. I think I'm going to get overwhelmed here, but we might be able to just squeak this by. They also have cleave, which isn't a big deal against me, but yeah, that was pretty tough. I think I will try a redo, but I'm not super optimistic that this is going to pan out. I may, since most of these units are melee, try positioning all of my units very far back and yeah, see if I can't hook in. I'm not sure if it's going to pull Dr. Crab, but that would be ideal if I can. No, so we're gonna get an early kill nonetheless, but getting our healing nerfed is going to be pretty rough. This might just be a loss that we have to stomach. This is not looking like it's winnable. They've got a very powerful team, well positioned against us. So we did go with the more greedy line here of trying to keep our win streak and our money rolling. So we are going to take 6, put ourselves down to 8, which is a little scary. So we may need to get in desperation mode and spend more of our money. Getting the level 2 Shosano Preserver is very big though. So let's see what we can do. We can get the Great White Brawlers. So an option here is to stay here at 33. It is risky though, because if we fight a team that is difficult for us, there's really not going to be any option for us to redo and change very much. So I am going to level up here and roll a little bit. So we got a couple of Terramaws, a Flame Minku, which doesn't really fit what we're doing, but is very interesting. Level 2 Terramaw, wow. Okay, so I think the play here now, we are getting a trait next turn, so we could end up actually getting this Summoner trait turned on with the Terramaw and the Shiv Slither. And I think, so the Mako has Cleave, which is shared with the Prickle Spike, and we've got Infused, which is shared with this Flamingo on our bench. But I might try to swap in the Great White Brawler just because we have Debilitating on both of them and Fearsome, which could also work, and I think this might end up being something that we want a little bit more. So let's try something like this out for our positioning here, and we've got a couple of units in case we want to redo if we're at danger of dying. So okay, well, looks like we're running into this Fearsome Immutable team again. We were able to beat it before. They've changed their positioning a little bit as their AoE is now positioned at the bottom, but we've gotten quite a bit stronger, so it looks like we're going to be just fine here running through. We're not as vulnerable as we were before, able to get a nice overwhelm. on their Great White. So let's see what we get for our final trait in the demo here. We got Overpowering Brutal, which is only on 1 unit, Stalker only on 1 unit, and Empowering only on 1 unit. So not ideal. We tried to get more of an overlap here, weren't able to get our Summoner or any of our other options. So we can go ahead and take a look as far as Overpowering, Empowering, and Stalker. So Overpowering, pretty much just on Basher, not a particularly good option. Then we've got the Empowering Fervent. Looking at our options going forward, Empowering is definitely appealing because that would be the third trait on Ripper Beast, which would be a great unit for us to slot in. So that is where my mind is going right off the bat. And the Stalker trait is also pretty much only on Prickle Spike. So as far as planning for the future here, Empowering Fervent would be great. And the effect of Empowering Fervent is when the ability is cast, when Empowering units cast, they give haste based on the mana spent to themselves and a nearby unit. So this would allow us to turn one of our units into a much faster attacking unit. And immediately we do see the Ripper Beast here, which is very cool. So we're going to be picking that up. And we have a Slick Snipper, which is also quite appealing. So I'm going to get rid of our Flamingo here because we have to make some money. We got to evaluate our weakest units, which to me look like these level 1 Great Whites. So those will get slotted on the bench. And we can try to figure out what we want to do otherwise. So one of the nice things about Ripper Beast is Ripper Beast starts out with 70 mana, immediately jumps to an enemy, deals some damage, but it triggers that Empowering to give haste right off the bat. So I want to find a unit that hits kind of hard, might be our level 2 Shilzano Preserver, so getting that cast right off the bat would be pretty nice. And I'm going to put our other Empowering unit just kind of off to the side. And I'm going to put our other Summoner over here just because we do have this healing from things dying and soul ripping. So I'm going to kind of position a number of those. I might put them all on that side. And the ability of the Slick Snipper is an AoE stun. So I'm going to put him in the center here for that. And I'm going to take a look at the health here. We have 1800 health in Shilzano Preserver and 1100 on Slick Snipper, so I'm going to put our enhancement on the Preserver just to get more benefit out of 30% health. And we do have a Jelly Wrangler here, which might be better than a Great White Brawler, is something we could position in. So I think I am just going to make that swap. And then as far as getting more mana, I think this is probably fine. Could see putting that on the Ripper Beast. If I get it level 2, I would probably make that swap, but yeah, this Prickle Spike might also be worse than something on our bench. But let's go ahead and run this and see what we've got. So we've got some anti-healing here with Executing, Recovery, and Infuse. So we'll see. I don't think we're that reliant on our healing. So big stun coming out from our Slick Snipper should be able to let us get through. A lot of heals coming in here, but should be able to get onto the back line, target this Swan Dancer, which will fall over pretty quickly here. Pretty diverse amount of damage coming in. Not that much healing from us, which again, they are nerfing our healing with their Executing. A lot of mitigation, though, coming in from the Immutable and the Armor from our tanky units here, which is pretty nice. I may even want to change our positioning, just because I think we might be getting a little cute here with trying to get the trigger. So I think that will end up being better, just to make sure our Immutable units are tanking right in the start here. So we are at 8 gold. This is the second to last turn of the game, so it's the last turn that interest matters. So we could sell something for 1 interest. I don't think that's really necessary. We're not going to have enough gold to level final time, so I'm just going to kind of spend the rest of our gold and look for potentially interesting options here. So we do have another Basher, which I think is worth picking up, and we've got a Doomjaw, which I think would be better than the Jelly Wrangler, just due to traits being turned on, but I might just do this to give us maximum options here. So Doomjaw usually needs a fair bit of support. His ability causes his attacks to be repeated to himself and additional enemies. I don't think he has enough support to really survive for that long, but he might be better than the Prickle Spike. So I think I will make that swap and we can try that out. Just keep these units on our bench for some options for redos in case we need to. And yeah, okay, scary team off the bat. They've got a lot of damage here. They've got a good AoE disarm that'll come in right around now. And we'll see if we get our stun from our prickle spike here before we get into some big trouble. Do you get the stun there? I think they're going to be able to get through. Oof, a lot of damage coming in here. So let's see. So that will be a loss of 6. I think we will want to try a redo. They have one ranged unit. They've got a hook of their own. So I want to counter their hook by potentially, if the Slick Zipper can survive, it would be really powerful. I don't know if it will. So I think we're going to want to position against them. I'm probably going to cut the Doom Jaw and try to put our tankier units here in the front. Let's see what we want to do here. So we're gonna hook their Sleazy Beak, and yeah, I think something like this. So ideally, these Bashers lock out mana, which might be a problem for stopping our stun. So we might need to position again a little bit differently. But ideally, we hook in the Sleazy Beak, because our Sleazy Beak was their main source of damage here. If we can get the hook and get a kill in early, that would be particularly strong. We may, they do have like a little bit of AoE here, so our summon plan might not be as good, but let's just see how this plays out here. Just slotting in our hook for Sleazy Beak and hopefully countering theirs. So let's see if we can get that Sleazy Beak taken care of. We do. Our Shelsano was perfectly fine. So we are living a bit longer here. Another hook there, splitting out our damage. But that was not enough, unfortunately. We dealt with one of their carries, and it actually was a worse loss. So I'm going to redo again. This is our last chance here. So I may even try something a little bit weird, and we'll just see if something like this will give us a better chance. Trying to see if there's other options. I think this might be the best course of action for us. Let's see. So should still be hooking the same targets for both of us. See if we get a little bit of a pile here. We can kill a Sleazy Beak. Our guy's still fine, tanking, but he will fall here, which is not ideal. And I think they will just overpower us here. We got a nice stun coming out, but I don't know that we're really going to have enough to pull anything. We got one more kill there, which is good. We got a little bit of healing rolling in, but not quite enough. So we are one dust short of redoing. We will be able to get another redo the next turn. We did make the loss a little bit more palatable, so we are going to go to 2, and our run doesn't quite end, and we'll get to our final turn of the demo at the very least. Here we'll get to pick a second-rate enhancement. So getting ability mastery and attack speed is not quite what our team is looking for. We aren't really big on attacks. Increasing the health and armor by 30 is very synergistic for continuing our tanks going, and starting mana is not quite it either. So we'll just get a bit tankier here. And yeah, so we got another Ripper Beast, which is quite nice. And I think if we position our front line a bit more like this, I think we'll be in a better spot. Let's see. I don't think we're looking for any of this. Let's go ahead and roll. Alright. I don't think we are going to end up playing the Jelly Wrangler, so let's roll. More Shilzano Preservers. Definitely something that is interesting. I think it's worth trying for. I'm going to ditch the Doomjaw here, and let's roll another time. Let's get rid of the Bashers, see what we've got. So I think this is what we'd be looking at right now. I might sell one of these Preservers and just see if we can't hit anything else. Nope, that looks about it. So we can try running something like this. And yeah, so sometimes you can get your team to level 8 by by the end. We unfortunately had to roll down a bit earlier since we lost streak and took a fair bit of damage. We'll have one redo here on the final turn, so team's looking decent, not amazing, but we've got some good synergy here, hoping we can fight other teams that are vulnerable to just having tanky front lines. Our damage is definitely lacking. So yeah, let's go ahead and give it a go here. We're fighting another team of 6. They are also a Soul Ripper and Unyielding team, though they are a little bit different. So you see a lot of damage coming out. Looks like we're overwhelming them. Our summoner strategy coming in even without the summoner trait. Looks like we are going to be able to overwhelm them with any luck here. It's going to take a while. Quite a lot of summons coming out. Particularly powerful due to the Unyielding Immutable, but we are able to get through, clean up the rest here, and our Basher was actually able to output a fair bit of damage. Our Ripper Beasts, not quite as much. As far as mitigation, you can see here the over 100 triggers from the Immutable. That on 5 of their units, they were far tankier a team than us. I guess we did also have 5 immutable, but they have more levels on their units, and we have lots of individual sources of damage coming out from our summons that the immutable is mitigating. And the other interesting thing that I'd like to point out before we wrap this up here is just the different variants that come with the different traits. So whenever you're offered a trait, you get shown a different variant randomly. So in our run, we saw Soul Ripper Death Knell, which gives our Soul Rippers some incidental healing when units are dying nearby. The team that we just fought, despite us having the same 3 traits, they're different variants. So we end up having, pretty decent overlap with the units we have in play. So we both have the same Unyielding, but our Empowering gives haste. Their Empowering is selfless, so they actually give Mastery, which increases the potency of abilities. So while we're sort of attacking faster, generating mana quicker, they're making their abilities more powerful. And they have Soul Ripper Persistence, which gives more mastery the lower they are on health, and regenerates their missing health. So they actually have a pretty scary combo here with the Unyielding and the Soul Ripper Persistence, that they could sit at lower health and regen a lot more health here. And thankfully I was able to overwhelm them and not have that be too big of an issue. But if they had more defensive jewels empowering their units, or were able to kind of split out the damage a little bit more, that could have been potentially difficult for me to deal with. But thankfully we were able to get that victory and complete the demo, get to turn 13. So then in the final screen here, we can kind of see a graph that sort of showcases all the different metrics that kind of make up the history of the run, the different the different points that we were able to get power spikes. So we ended with 7 wins, 6 losses. Not bad. Made it all the way through. Got a nice little tanky team here. Didn't have any standout damage dealers, but pretty interesting. As far as our streak, we were able to get a loss streak into a win streak, and then things got a little dicey at the end, but overall not too bad. Our interest, we were able to save up to 3 a few times. Weren't able to get up to 5, which is the maximum. And usually I like looking at the team power as well, so we can see with health there, we were considered to be a little bit weaker up until about turn 6, and then we pretty much mirrored the growth of our opponents, but were stronger, or rated stronger than our enemies for most of the run. But there was that on turn 9 where we were in a rough matchup and weren't quite able to pull that around and had to take that loss. But overall, was a pretty strong run, fairly good team, and always good that we were able to get through to the end. So anyway, that's gonna be it for this playthrough. I appreciate you watching, and if you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe. Really helps the algorithm. And if you would like to try out the game, please check out the link in the description where we've got our Steam store page where you can play the demo yourself, wishlist it. All of it really helps us out as we are just a small studio looking to kind of turn this into, a passion project for us. So, yeah, thanks for watching and see you next time.